CHU, Canada. Coordinated Universal Time. 17 hours, 18 minutes. 17h, ici. CHU, Canada. UTC. 17h. 17 hours, 19 minutes. The gaskets are pretty cheap. I mean, I don't know if you have a general or a full flow. The generals will send the gaskets with the replacement cartridge. The full flows, which are the gray ones, a little bit fatter than the generals. Usually you got to pick up the gaskets separately, and it's a good idea every once in a while. The gaskets don't last forever. But that's the answer to all of that. And the only thing I can tell you about nozzles, Tim, is you got to be careful. Depending on the oil gun you're using and the chamber that it's firing into, they're pretty particular about what they want to do in that regard. That's why it's always best if you get the manufacturer's recommendations on that, and if you don't have it in hand, usually you can find them online. As to, and I agree with you, you don't have to fire it at the rate that it comes out of the factory. I know.
1-800-940-6161. That's 1-800-940-6161. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-940-6161. Select Quote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Portions of this program are pre-recorded.
When you hear leprosy, you think biblical times, but it still exists today. People get shunned, can't work, children get ostracized. American Leprosy Mission brings hope, healing, and the message of Jesus. Learn more.
choices about breast cancer treatment. Most insurances, Medicare, Medicaid accepted. For a fresh second opinion, call Dr. Breast cancer treatment, call 212-CHOICES. 212-CHOICES. Call Dr. Lederman today. 212-CHOICES.
It's Dr. Lederman speaking with 007 about prostate cancer. You're 007.
The real 007. I was diagnosed in 2005 with prostate cancer. I requested a biopsy.
Why?
When I was going up, I got a biopsy that I had cancer in my prostate.
It's that bad. So in game number one, I'll lay all the pot. I'll lay 20 if they made it that high. That's 17.5 fine. Give me the Cowboys laying the 17.5 at home against arguably one of the worst teams I've ever seen, the Houston Texans. Game number two, I can't explain why Joe Burrow and the Bengals have struggled against the Browns, but they have. I also believe Deshaun Watson, who was very rusty a week ago, there's no denying that. The Browns won that game because of special teams and defense. They did not win that game because Deshaun Watson looks good. But it's natural that first game back and all that time missed, that he wasn't.
What vitamins and vitamins are necessary going forward to optimize health as well. So we look at all these different metabolic factors as well to really personalize this journey from day one really going forward. And folks can always come in, send in their blood work, come in for scan and so forth, and we'll be able to keep doing it for you.
I mean, we really, that's what we do. I mean, you see patients.
Everything does. That's what the whole on, no matter how we feel or nothing. We walk not by fear, not by sight, Lord, but we walk by faith, Lord, because we know, Lord, that you will come through, Lord. And we remember, Lord, the things that you have done for us, Lord. Help us, Lord, not to forget, Lord, what you brought us from, Lord. Brought us out of a horrible pit, Lord, at the Murray Creek, and set our feet up on the rock, Lord. Steps out going, and you will continue, Lord, to step out going, Lord, despite what the enemy is doing, Lord, despite us, Lord, you are,
It looked good the whole way. Yeah. To be honest with you. Yeah. And then you looked at like the side angle, it's like 15 yards. Yeah, it was so short. Yeah. It wasn't even close. Everybody's looking their face after a tie. That's my problem with the NFL. Is everybody's face like, what do you do? Gotta get you don't literally take the field. One coach is happy, one quarterback's happy, the other guy's not, and then you shake hands like after a tie. It's like good game, I guess. Like see ya in 3 weeks. Should we do rock paper scissors? Like you can't do that in American football. No, this isn't a World Cup. And we were just talking about the World Cup. How to draw us. Stop it. Stop it with the ties. Yeah. And it screws up everything at the end of the year.
The news constantly in this one very specific way that you are no doubt familiar with. Two camps, one wants to restrict abortion access, one wants to open it up, and they just battle back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
But it turns out that all the while, there was another story unfolding, a scientific story, and it's one that a lot of people...
The Biden administration's infrastructure bill will help fund $100 million in safety upgrades at rail crossings in the Hudson Valley. 5 of those crossings are in Putnam and Dutchess counties. Here's Putnam County legislator Nancy Montgomery.
Rail crossing incidents are the second leading cause of trail-related deaths in the United States. And while I'm always going to push harder to make rail companies be cognizant of how their operations affect my community and the communities through which they operate.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer also wants to get rid of the Roaring Brook Road crossing in Newcastle and build a bridge there. He's pushing for $67 million in funding for that. 12:34 at WCBS, a tragedy at the World Cup. Veteran soccer journalist Grant Wall collapsed and died.
A person familiar with the situation says Wall may have had a heart attack when he collapsed in the press box while covering the Argentine-Netherlands match. On Monday, he wrote he was feeling pressure and discomfort in his chest and went for medical treatment. He spoke about it on his Spotify podcast.
My body, I think, told me, even after the U.S. went out, dude, you are not sleeping enough. And it rebelled on me. And so I've had a case of bronchitis this week.
Wall's agent, Tim Scanlon, says he was covering his 8th World Cup and reporting on several platforms, not overworked, because that's what he lived for. He celebrated his 48th birthday Thursday. Peter King, CBS News.
One of the now former Minneapolis police officers who kneeled on George Floyd as he died is going to prison. Judge Peter Cahill read the sentence for J. Alexander King.
The guilty plea is accepted, and based on that plea, You were found guilty of aiding and abetting man.
To get Lee throughout there. I had the opportunity to spend a week with her in New Jersey and the NYPD. But that's how it is. You know, Lead is expanding every day, a little bit here and there. I know that we're in Hawaii. That's the only place I've never been. So, Nick, I think you and I have to go to Hawaii soon. I'd definitely like to teach a drug course on the beach in Maui. But we're doing fantastic work.
We actually have the Lead program in Maui.
Well, I've got a lot of United Airlines miles, so maybe we can take a jaunt out there. But seriously, it takes money. These things are expensive. Programs can be expensive to some communities. I mean, we're fortunate in New Jersey that a lot of our educational materials are paid for in a grant.
But untreated COVID is one of them. If you're 50 or older or have a chronic condition, COVID can be deadly. Got COVID symptoms? Talk to a doctor and get treatment right away, because it just can't wait. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
What if this holiday season you could give your loved ones the gift of never, ever having to bend down or touch their shoes to put them on? Like ever again. That's a pretty powerful gift. And that gift would be new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. That's right. With new Skechers Slip-ins, your loved ones can just
go to college, party, the whole deal. That's not what these guys signed up for. You know, they signed up for a different type of life, and I'm always so impressed that they could make that decision at 17, 18 years old to be unselfish and to say something is bigger than just me and my self-interest. I want to be a part of something that's more important than that, and I'm just blown away when I get a chance to talk to them. It is the most impressive part of these guys, and I tell all the coaches for all these academies, I would have them talk to recruits as much as possible, because the biggest selling point for these teams are their young men on the team.
Ross Tucker, live from Lincoln Financial Field in Philly, going to be on the call for the 7th time of Army-Navy on Westwood One. He's also the host of the Ross Tucker podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at Ross Tucker NFL. Matt Schick, Trevor Maddich here on ESPN Radio.
Ross, I've done games at Army as well.
She doesn't have a Democratic base that she can rely on, and she had a real legitimate fear of facing potentially a strong primary challenge before her 2024 race.
So she seemed to cast this as a matter of how she views herself in Washington, that she doesn't fit with either party. This is sort of an ideological issue, but it sounds like maybe you think this is about her polling, this is about her stance in Arizona. Is this about her place in the caucus, or her security and potentially lack of popularity with her constituents?
Passive robot. She needs a free decision to love him, to receive the love he gives us. So it's the smallest things. That's, again, St. Teresa's insight. To do small things with great love. Mother Teresa took that as her spirituality as well. To do small things with great love. Mother Teresa said that once you offer something to God, anything, the smallest thing, giving a cup of water,
Entonces, ahora los memes en la misma escena del plano que agarra al gato, le pone la bandera de al gatito la bandera de Brasil. Después también podemos ver al Chavo del 8 que pues ya se va y es Brasil y empieza a caminar. Todos nos quedamos en shock, como este perrito que aparece en este meme con los ojos saltones. Brasil, no lo puedo creer, quedó eliminado. El gato también ya feliz por la venganza de que Brasil haya quedado eliminado, y también se quedó sorprendido este gato. ¿Qué? ¿Quedó eliminado?
Quiero dar alguna información porque ustedes tienen que saber lo que está pasando. Voy a dar primero unos tips. El otro día estaba haciendo una compra y la funda pesaba mucho. Y yo estoy colocando
Our culture is changing. Roadless ways we progress, but Wednesday still allows children to be born. Join Relevant Radio as we continue to pray for an end to abortion in America and commit to supporting moms and their babies. Add your prayers to the tally by clicking on the memorare here at relevantradio.com.
Hi, this is Bishop Brandon Cahill, the Diocese of Victoria in Texas.
Halloween is Elvis Presley. He made a record.
And I love you so. The people ask me how I've lived. I tell them I don't know. I guess they understand how lonely life has been.